Hey y'all, what's up? It's Mario with Bulldog Attitude. Day after Christmas. I hope everyone had a blessed Christmas and everyone stayed safe. I know I had way too much food, mainly collard greens. How many of you guys know what happens the day after you eat collard greens? If you know what I mean. Please leave it in the post down below. But no, on a serious note, um, you guys have any goals for 2026, this new year coming up? I wanted to talk to you guys about setting goals and how important that really is. What type of goals do you guys have set for 2026 going into this new year? Love to hear in the post below, in the comment section below, some of the goals that the folks that listen to this channel have set for 2026. One question I have for you guys, and one of the main topics that we're going to talk about today, are your goals SMART? How many of you guys on the channel know what SMART goals really are and what they're really all about? SMART goals are, if you think about SMART as an acronym, SMART are your goals specific, right? So when you're making goals, you want to make sure they are very detailed and specific on what you want to achieve. Being vague about your goals will, will be an arbitrary target, and it'd be really hard to hit the target if you're not very specific about what your goal and the end goal is really all about when you actually hit the goal. So really think about being very specific about what the goal is that you're really trying to attain. M, is it measurable, right? Can you measure it? When you think about, we talk about on this channel a lot about fitness goals, right? So weight loss, strength gains, all of these different things are measurable progress where you can say, hey, in 2026, I want to lose 20 to 50 pounds. It's easy to measure and track progress when you start and measure whether you're getting stronger and when you're in the gym or the scale going in the right direction. So it's really easy to measure, are you on track to meet your goal? So again, being specific about it. If you want to lose 20 pounds, it's easy to measure, if you're making progress towards your goal. So the M, is it measurable? A, is it actionable? Right. So I'll tell you and be transparent with you guys, listing all the actions that it takes to attain your goal. Sometimes it's easy to write those things down to make sure you're crystal clear on what actions need to take place and what steps need to be taken place to achieve your goal. One of the things with Bulldog Attitude, I think I fell short with this, with the A. There's a lot of things from a step standpoint and action standpoint that I missed along my goal, and we're still trying to play catch up with that right now. So you think about, starting your LLC, getting your tax ID number, all of those different things was not, you know, on the top of my mind from an action standpoint, and I fell short on doing some of those things. As you think about starting a business, most people think about those things may be elementary, but it didn't come to my mind, and I didn't list those things as action steps that I need to take to achieve my goal. So when you think about what your goal really needs to be, make sure you list out all of the steps and you're very, very specific on what things you need to do and what actions you need to take to achieve your goal. Are reasonable, right? So is your goal, you're thinking about being very specific about what your goal needs to be. If you want to lose 20 pounds in the year 2026, that seems like a very reasonable goal, something that you can attain, something that you can measure, that is actionable, something that you can track, and it's very reasonable to attain. So you think about those type of things when you're starting to think about what is truly reasonable. Like, a goal of 2026 is to travel out of space to go out of space and be on the moon. That's not kind of a reasonable goal unless you're a personal friend of Jeff Bezos or something like that. So your goal needs to be reasonable, and think about that as an R as you start to go thinking about being specific. How do I measure it? All the actions that it takes to do it. And as you start to list those things out, is your goal reasonable to attain? When you start to track those things, sometimes you may need to take a step back. 50 pounds, 20 pounds may be too much. What is a reasonable goal, and how do I track each day, each quarter? At the halfway point, are we starting to make it through? So one of those things with Bulldog Attitude was when I was starting in the brand, I told you some of the steps that I took. We listed out a milestone schedule. And my goal was to have this brand up and running by Christmas. We achieved the goal, but there's a lot of things that I missed because I missed a couple of the steps along the way in my action plan. So one of the things I'm doing right now is working with my son. The video next week that we'll record, we've talked about some of the things that he needs to do to start his business that he wants to do, and we're going to record that and show you guys the steps that he's actually taken and making sure that he didn't miss the steps and some of the things that I missed along the way, but showing you how to set smart goals for a plan physically, and not just talking about it on the channel, but we're going to actually go through it and we're going to record it as we go through. Lastly, the T, time bound, right? So you think about what things you want to go and what things you want to do. Are your goals very specific that you want to achieve? Can you measure it? Is it actionable and it is a reasonable goal? And what's the time that you want to list out to do this? So we talked about the weight loss journey in 2026. Somebody's goal may be to lose 2026. So by the beginning of 2027, they lost 20 pounds, goal accomplished. But you want to make sure that you think about what time is it going to take, making sure you give yourself the allotted amount of time to do it. You don't want to sandbag by any means. You want to always put pressure on yourself to achieve the goal, but you don't want to put so much stress that it's not reasonable to actually attain. So think about a very specific goal. Can you measure it? Can we track the actions and steps that we go to, even if they're written down, so you can hold yourself accountable to those things, and potentially putting time against it so you know that I've got 6 months, 3 months, or whatever it is that what your goal is, and you're writing down the steps and you're making sure that you go through. So writing those things down sometimes to keep yourself on track on that time-bound journey as you go through your goals is very important. So a lot of times we put things in Excel, milestone schedule to say these are the actions I want to actually take to make sure at the end of my goal I'm able to achieve it. And you can easily see if you're on track or off track based on the time that you've allotted yourself to actually go through it. So the last one in the T is time bound. So again, specific goal with an S. Can you measure it? A, is it actionable? Can we track it and see what actions and steps we need to take? R, is it reasonable? T, and time bound, and making sure you get it. So when you think about your goals and making sure that you list all those things out, make sure your goals are SMART, specific, measurable, actionable, reasonable, and time bound to attain those goals. So real short video today, but next week we're going to be talking about it real life with my son and going through it, and you'll get a chance to see it live in action. I'll be asking questions around his goal of starting his business and making sure his goals are SMART. All right. You guys have a great day. I'm out. Be blessed.